darlings, welcome to Tammy and Tiaras. Well, it's a very different video this week. You know I like to talk about mental health issues, and I wear my tiaras to shine a prettier light onto mental health issues. I'm so lucky that people have given me beautiful tiaras. However, today I didn't wear my tiara, and Bert and I did something that we don't usually do, and we got out of our comfort zone. And I wanted to go for a big walk in nature. What is it about connecting with nature, darlings? That feeling, the grounding of walking up a mountain, of looking at the trees that can help us so much with our mental health. Well, in this video, come with me because that's exactly what we are doing. My niece Linda was here last week, or actually the week before, and she made us aware of a very, very significant landmark here, close to us, just at, like an hour's drive away. I didn't even know about the significance of Mount Beckworth until Linda and her daughters came all the way from America and climbed it, and I Googled it. Well, darlings, how lucky are we to have such a significant tree so close to us? You know how I love nature. It really helps me in every single way. Well, during World War II, Mount Beckworth's lollipop tree was used as a visual beacon and target for RAAF air gunners training at the Ballarat airport. Pilots would use the tree as a landmark for bomb aiming practice, with the tree's unique shape resulting from the removal of its lower branches during this time. Can you believe it? This beautiful tree was actually used for bomb practice. Now, near the tree there is a beacon and target. That was a metal one that they really aimed for. But the tree was what they could see best from a distance that gave them an idea of how far to go. So the trainees, they used to practice on the lollipop tree. The Ballarat airport was the RAAF No. 1 Wireless Air Gunners School, WAGS, was the main place for it. And the training exercises involving the lollipop tree were significant and helped in the training of these particular pilots. I'm fascinated about anything to do with World War II. Goodness, who isn't? My grandfather was in the war. He never wanted to talk about it. And to think that this significant thing happened an hour away from us, I had to climb it. I had to climb that mountain. I had to get up there. So we did. The tree is now 107 years old, and it won the big distinction for being named the Tree of the Year in 2018 for its 100th birthday. It's got a 2-metre round diameter, which is a long way, and its real name is a Monterio pine, or a botanical name is the Pinus radiata, but we call it the lollipop tree. I actually think that anybody who takes small children for a walk up to the lollipop tree is, well, look, honestly, darlings, it was a hard walk. I couldn't imagine children doing it. The tree is located in the Mount Beckworth Scenic Reserve, and the lollipop is one of 5 trees planted in 1918 by Mr. Jack Scarf, a forest overseer from Maryborough, and 4 schoolboys, Arch Andrews, William Young, Francis Kinnesley and Colin Drife. 1 tree died and 3 others were cut down during World War II. This tree is a well-known landmark in the distance, and it can be seen from almost any direction for up to 50 kilometres. My brother-in-law Alan can see it from his house. The tree was used for practice bombing, like I told you, in World War II. I was just amazed, absolutely amazed at all this history. The name comes from the spherical shape of the crown, unusual for the species, and the result of the low pruning that they did. So, darlings, we head off with Lucy on the Friday, totally prepared for this walk. I had food, we had Lucy, and we thought that it would be just wonderful to connect with nature. Look at us with our feet and paws all on the same rock. Mount Beckworth.
Up on the rock?
Well, darlings, it was a hard walk. It was the damn track. I ended up carrying our dear Lucy more than she actually walked. And Bert, darling Bert, who insisted he did not need food of any kind to take with him, wasn't coping very well at all with the walk, unfortunately. And it was very lucky that, of course, me, being me, always has food with me. So we just enjoyed it so much. What is it about getting out and in nature, seeing the trees, the beauty, the fact that this tree grew on granite? It is just amazing. There's no words to describe the feeling that went with doing this climb. It was euphoric, and I was determined to reach the top. We had lots of stops along the way because, to be quite honest, Bert needed them. I topped him up with a pear, with lots of water, with a packet of biscuits, and also with jelly babies in the end, because his knees were totally shaking and I was really concerned for him. So unfortunately, this particular day, we didn't make it to the lollipop tree. We had to head home. We had to head down because Bert was not coping. And I have to be mindful of his health. Also, I was very worried about Lucy. And although she's only 5 kilos, she's quite a heavy little weight.
Yeah, it is.
The track wasn't easy to follow. I felt like we were lost more times than we were on it. It was very rough. It was not marked. There was a couple of signs that had the dam walk mark, and I took photos of them because they were rare and far between. I actually thought that it could have been marked a lot easier because this walk actually took Bert and I over 2 hours to do. That was a long time walking around, not quite sure. There was no sign that said lollipop tree this way. Just these little signs with an arrow that you thought, well, you're on the right track. But nothing to give you an idea of the distance you still had to climb.
Huh.
The scenery, it was amazing. And it was deathly calm. No birds, no wildlife apart from 2 lizards did we see. Lucy loved all the smells. She was so in her element. Isn't it funny how dogs love getting out in nature too? You can see from here the way the track just disappears into just scrub. This was when Bert was having his last rest and I said, well, come on, sweetie, let's go back. Guys, I was so disappointed. You don't know me, but I'm an extremely determined person. Nobody just goes and decides to lose 25 kilos of weight because you're told you'll be put on insulin. But I did, and I'm determined. And I was determined to walk up to that tree. But this day I had to look out for Bert, and off we came back down the path. I did notice a strong smell and a strong sense of calm. The smell of the gum leaves, because it was such a hot day. It was probably 24 degrees. And when you're climbing a mountain that is so steep, that is a tough walk. We had coffee when we got back, and I was so relieved to make it to the car, as was Lucy. But I was determined to come back. So 2 days later, we headed back. Yes, I was feeling confident. It's only got an elevation of 634 metres. I felt invincible. I had my imaginary tiara on this time. Well, walking up there was the equivalent of walking 68 flights of steps. It was steep. It was slippery because of the granite and the gravel. But the feeling when you got to the top and saw that tree, there was nothing like it. Nothing like it in the world. I just loved it so much. I have a thing about mountains. Bert got lots of drone footage, which I'm delighted to share with you. I felt a strong connection to the Aboriginals and the country in this place. I really, really did. I felt like I was definitely on their land. I thanked them for looking after it. To me, the tree is a symbol of hope and success. and resilience. And that's how I felt, having made it all the way up there. I was fine. I was really fine. Bert was pretty good too, considering all. I was very worried about walking down. But walking down didn't take long because we actually fell half the way down, which is really easy because it's so slippery. The walk we did was the cork tree walk. On this particular one, it was the shortest walk. I was positive that it would be the easiest walk, and it's known as the hardest walk. But we did it. I was very grateful to have my brother-in-law Alan park down at the actual picnic spot, and he was going to call the ambulance, the Air Force, the police, whoever he needed if we took a turn. It's just so hard for Bert and I to get out of our comfort zone, but I thoroughly enjoyed this. I've wanted to walk to the lollipop tree ever since my niece did it last week, and now we did it. Bert and I did it. It was tough. It was a hard walk, but we did it. Our daughter Simone has a beautiful open wood fire, and she loves to burn her pine cones in it. So I had to take some home for her.
Red-faced and all, and it's not from port.
And we've already had something to eat and drink and all of that. The worst part now, though, is going back down.
Yeah.
Gosh, it was steep, guys. It was steep. I was crawling on all fours at one stage because I kept slipping. So going back down, I think going back down will be a lot quicker.
Yeah.
A lot quicker. But it's so beautiful up here. It's so peaceful. It's gorgeous. And I just love all the granite, because as a child, I remember when we toured Australia, we would go to where the granite was because Mum would look for good gemstones. So I'm loving this. Granite, as old as time itself. I'm so glad they didn't hit you with the bombs. Making sure we didn't leave anything.
We did it.
How do you feel, Sweet Pea?
Oh, exhilarated and exhausted all at the same time.
So a big thank you for watching, darlings. Get out of your comfort zone sometimes and do something that surprises even yourself. Big thanks to Alan, who I felt safe because he was down there. We loved the cork trees, everything about it. Nature's awesome, darlings. Have a wonderful week. God bless.
Yes.